Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is DFree. Here today in this video, we will talk about update 3.14.0 that is coming over to the global version of the game. So if you're not familiar, this is the update that JP got a couple of months ago that does do several things, such as adding the last deck feature, adding the update for the giant apes and all that stuff. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you guys all the info that you need to know. We'll also transition from there into talking about some of the characters that are going to be coming out immediately after this. If we go off of JP's timeline, again, it's just conjecture. It could happen, probably not. We don't know. Most likely will, though, I will say. But anyways, we're going to talk about characters she expects to come soon, nonetheless, based off of JP's timeline with this update. And we'll also talk a little bit more about some leaks. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. Be sure to listen all the way through to get that information, because at first I'm going to go over this and we'll come back and talk about the other units. So, update 3.14.0 will be here soon. Here's the first-hand information. Added Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash. So, first thing I want to point out is that is the new game mode that is coming this week. I have done a couple of guides over the weekend that will be over in the description for you guys to check out. A gameplay one and then a general like team build, all that other stuff, yada yada. But there was some confusion around those. Some people were like, oh, it's not out on global, so this isn't a global video. No, it is a global video. It was for both versions of the game. It was just a guide. So check those out if you need to get caught up and you need to know the rules of the mode and all that stuff and want an example of gameplay, because it's been on JP for a very long time. It is also known as Dokkan Battlefield, so you guys have probably heard of it in the past. But anyways, prepare for the heated battles in Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash. Added the previous deck and clear record function. So long story short, what this is, it is a way for the game to allow you to be competitive with your friends and also a quality of life update. So everybody on your friends list, when you complete a stage, will now be able to see your fastest clear time. It doesn't matter about any other times below that, but your fastest clear time, and it'll be ranked. So whoever among your friends list is the fastest clearer will be number 1, number 2, number 3, so on and so forth. So that way, you guys are able to be like, oh, competitive, because a lot of times maybe you know people in real life or things of that nature. But as far as we're concerned, probably not. But the atmosphere for this game in Japan is such that, you know, a lot of times you do know the people on your friends list personally, and you compare boxes with your friends, like at school or whatever the case is. So really, that's cool from that perspective. So nonetheless, moving on, there also is the last deck feature. So what that is when you complete a stage, it says, okay, this is the team that you used last time to complete this stage, and it records it, it saves it, and it puts it in one of the team brackets at the very, very beginning. So every time you try to complete that stage, you will now see your most recent stage used, or your most recent team used, excuse me. Now, that's a good feature because it saves you the hassle of having to scroll through your different pages of teams or rebuild a team or whatever the case is, right? So it's good in those scenarios. Sometimes, to me, for somebody that likes to do showcases and change my teams and units a lot, it gets kind of annoying, but nonetheless, it is a good quality of life feature just to help you guys speed up the process a little bit more. And again, it shows right at the beginning as soon as you select your friend, so on and so forth. So moving on past that, they're going to take a little bit of time to explain that. They say you can re-challenge the stage with a recorded team. So yes, you can. You can check the best clear time of each stage made by you or a friend in the clear records page. Excuse me. You can also review the team formation that you use to clear the stage. Make good use of the function to form your team. So that's another little thing I didn't mention here. But if you, for example, change your team, or if you, for example, forget what units you brought for whatever reason, you can go back and take a look at it, or you can use the last cleared stage. So like, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can bring up your fastest team on the record list, or you can just use the most recent one. So you don't have to be pigeonholed. Really what that is, you don't have to be pigeonholed to leaving that team on a specific deck slot, you know, because you only have like, what, 6, 7, whatever the case is. You don't have to be forced to leave it there, so you always have it. It's just going to be there for you whenever you come back to that stage and try to complete it. So moving on, activated hidden potential will be applied to characters that have transformed into special states such as giant apes. The status strengthened by hidden potential activation will be applied to characters who transform into giant ape, giant form, or rage during battles. So long story short, hopefully not too short because I need to explain it, but what happened with the characters that had those mechanics, right, was that they would not get access to additional attacks, critical hits, dodges, albeit they don't need the dodges, but still, they didn't get access to any of that stuff. The other little abilities from the potential system, the stat boosts from the potential system. So now they're going to be able to gain access to that stuff. And This is really big for a lot of different reasons, but particularly for like you guys that run maybe the Giant Form team. I've always thought the Giant Form team was criminally underrated because of the potential that it has. Like that team with the way that it can transform, some of those units transforming like 2 or 3 times, whatever the case is, you're going to transform a lot. I even have done videos where I've been in a loop with Hirudegarn transforming every single turn over and over and over, and just having Hirudegarn for the entirety of a fight, for example. And you are literally impervious to damage. Now, there are tanky teams like you know, Patara, but there is no team in the game that is impervious to damage except for that team. That's it. Now, there's Android categories. They're really, really good at tanking and healing. And like I said, Patara, they're very tanky defensive teams, but there's a difference between being tanky and being impervious, right? So I've always thought that that was a good team. So for you guys that like that team, you'll get to see a little bit more of what it's able to do when your apes can now additional attack or critical hit and just start doing millions of damage. So it adds more to it because they've always been, like I said, very tanky and stuff, but now they can actually output well. The only issue that they still have with that is that these guys don't get access to any links, so they struggle for key, and that's unfortunate. But with the additionals, with the critical hits, with the fact you're going to be transformed for probably at least up to 2 rounds, or 2 stages, excuse me, well, not 2 stages, 2 turns, 6 charges, but for the fact you're going to do that, you'll probably get some additionals, some supers, whatever the case is, right? So ultimately, that's a really big deal. And also for the people that use like teams that maybe feature a great ape character, I can tell you from experience, way back when I first started the race series with Rhyme, back then, like a couple years ago, we would race a lot, and then I transitioned into racing with other friends like Zenrot and stuff. And then I know one time I raced, and the ape Goku would just transform over and over, and I'm just using Super SCR, and then the transformations were really, really slowing you down and just bogging you down. But now they'll still kind of do that, but not as bad, because now they can actually do more damage. So, big deal. Also, other characters like get rage and stuff like that. It's nice to see. And last little bit, it's nice because they also get the stat gain. They didn't have any stat gain at all. Your characters would literally have potential system buffs and then transform and lose it all. So, nice to see. So, hidden potential skills such as critical hit, combo attack, or evasion can also be activated. Indicated characters whose hidden potential routes can be unlocked. So what they did here was, in this image, all the characters that are pulsating blue are the ones that have routes that need to be unlocked. So that means that they have routes that you have dupes that you can throw into. So if you have a dupe of the AGL, well, Super Saiyan Blue, because he's the one that's clicked right now. Because of some of the, I was going to say Gotenks, but he starts off as, he's not Super Saiyan Blue for one, but the AGL Super Saiyan Gotenks starts off as base form, but that's fine. Super Saiyan Blue Goku, right? You have him, you have a dupe of him. It will tell you. And then you go to him, and you can unlock that path. You need to reverse him first, most likely, unless you awaken the dupe. But there's that. So it's nice to see, I guess. It gives you some incentive for characters to work on. Last little bit, the game now will tell you which icon you're doing to the opponent. So when you do damage, you can apply various status debuffs to your opponent, such as stunning, sealing, attack debuff, defense debuff, that type of stuff, right? That's always been indicated, as you can see in the top left corner. Above the cell image on the top left corner, you can see that icon that's the same as below the damage, the defense reduction. It's always been indicated, excuse me, but sometimes it's a little bit easier to see it with the damage icon, just because there were times where I would do videos, I'm like, wait, did I stun him? Did I stun him? Okay, I can, because you have to kind of wait for the frames to finish so you can finally see the top corner, and that also would pulsate and show different things, like maybe they can't be stunned or maybe they can't be sealed. So it's nice to see that here, so you can just see it and know what to expect, right? That's cool. Again, the status debuffs are a different story because they're not always applicable, but nonetheless, it's still nice to see it there. So, that being said, courtesy of Team Dokkan, he also mentions that if we use the timeline for JP pretty much, the Legendary Portal should arrive for Cell on Global with 3.14 and the Battlefield. So, he's saying Battlefield and LR Cell should come out very soon on Global. So, keep that in mind. He could be the next unit to drop. This is normal. We expected this. At least I expected this. I've said in a few videos that Cell should be coming. It's hard to predict when stuff comes to Global, just because we know that, and I talked about this in stream yesterday. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta should have come, maybe even Future Gohan, a couple other units. In this slot, instead of releasing those units, they've jumped into the 250 million download celebration. Then they also jump into the collaboration with Dragon Ball FighterZ. So all that stuff has been put on the back burner. But one thing that's for sure is that Cell should come out alongside all of the Android stuff, because they tend to drop stuff in themes. We're in an Android theme. The only thing that's off theme is the fact that we have Frieza's EZA instead of Tech Cell. That was supposed to be there instead, but obviously they didn't have Future Gohan out, so they really didn't bother doing it. So Yeah, so this should be coming out really soon. Stay updated for that. Stay tuned for that. And then after this, maybe finally we get Vegeta and Jiren's Awakening and all that stuff. That stuff should have come out before the 250, but it is what it is. So this form category here, it features several characters that got an Awakening. And of course, all these units do now get access to their additionals and potential system buffs and stuff. But they also drop a new character. So this Bardock is the new Bardock. Well, he's not really a new Bardock. He's an Awakening for the very, very old Bardock, who I'm going to show you here really quickly before we proceed. They update this guy's story event. This will change everything. But they update this guy's story event right here. And they do allow for it to awaken. So that's pretty much it. The character now awakens into this form here. And then here, he awakens into his ape form. The reason why I'm showing this guy off, feel free to pause. I'm not going to go over his stats or anything like that too much. The reason why I'm showing him off is because he came out immediately, almost, I think, after this update came to JP. Kind of like a commemorative thing, like, hey, we just updated the Giant Ape form. Here's this new Giant Ape free-to-play unit and a bunch of, a few Giant Ape Awakenings as well. So I'm going to go over those units because maybe this happens. They weren't a part of the list for this celebration, but even if they don't come out right then and there, they're going to be coming soon. I don't feel like there's any reason to hold on to some of these units or any of these Awakenings. This is the type of stuff that Global should just get. So I just wanted to show this stuff, but just keep in mind it could come at any point in the next few months, but hopefully soon. Anyways, the cool thing about this guy is he has a giant form / AGL sub-leader skill, so you can use him for Dokkan Battlefield / Virtual Dokkan Clash. If you don't know what I'm talking about with sub-leader skills, make sure you check out the guide. The link is in the description again. So there's that. Very nice to see. And he's also a UR, so of course you can use him. Anything below UR, reminder, you cannot use in Battlefield. We have Shugash's Awakening. Dope. Int type, 2 key, 70%. Very solid leader skill there. For sub-leaders, all allies get 7,000 attack and defense, plus an additional 2,000 defense per giant form category ally on the team, up to 6,000. May transform into an ape 2 times. So most apes can transform, especially newer Awakenings, I will say, up to 2 times. And of course, they get one more transformation if Tapion is a leader, because he allows them to get that, which is why I said, man, when you got 8 transforming literally every turn, I mean, you're just never going to get hit at all. So impervious to damage. But nonetheless, the way that this breaks down is he gives 7,000 attack and 9,000 minimum, because it does apply to him. You know, he's a part of that category ally. So you can just run Super Int, for example, put him on the team. He'll give 7,000 attack and 9,000 defense. It's unfortunate he doesn't link super well with a lot of those teams or setups, but he is applicable to like Pure Saiyans. If you need another character with like Saiyan Pride or whatever the case is, you know, he'd be good there. But nice unit, not too great, but it's unfortunate because he gets the stat boost that's flat. Other than that, I really like Shugash, and I've done showcases for him and this whole team, actually. So that'll be in the description if you want to see all 3 of these units in a team. So moving on, this guy, 50% and 2 key to AGL and STR, supreme damage and lowering attack. And this guy is really good. He got a really good buff. All allies get 3 key and 30% attack. That right there, really modest. Very, very good. Very, very good. Very good. Sucks that they can't get that 3 key, though, when they're transformed. I will say that. Another thing about him is he recovers 6% of HP per giant form category ally on your team, up to 18%. So at the minimum, just like Shugesh, he'll do his own buff, which is 6%. If you have 2 more units on the team, he'll do 18. So nice to see more hero units get access to some healing, right? Because he's a super AGL type. Should be an extreme AGL type because he's a mean dude. He looks mean. Anyways, moving on. May turn into a giant ape twice, and then the links are there, yada yada. 12 key multiplier is 140. Tora will always recover at least 6% HP at the start of the turn. Yes, because he himself applies. If you were questioning me about that, no, they apply. Again, Shugesh, same thing. Will always give at least 9,000 because of himself included. It applies. Borgo's here. He'll always get an additional 1%, so he's always 13%, by the way, because he himself applies. Attack and defense plus 12% per key sphere obtained, plus an additional attack and defense plus 1% per giant form category ally on the team, up to 3%. May turn into a giant ape twice, so he can get up to 15% per orb obtained. He can be a very powerful damaging unit with a passive like that. And of course, it's good that he gets the defense too. A lot of times they get hamstrung and only get the attack, so that's nice to see. But yes, these units will be getting Awakenings very, very soon, hopefully on Global. And again, we don't have any info when the Vegeta's coming. Like I said earlier, hopefully soon. but Cell should be the next unit to drop. And here's a look at his banner really quick, the featured units. Again, per normal, all the banners that are legendary banners like this do feature all the other LRs, so be aware of that. They'll all be in here. Your Android 21, she's not an LR, but just want to point that out. This guy's not going to be in here because he's not out yet. They're kind of skipping some of this stuff, but nonetheless, all these LRs, for the most part, that have come out previously will be here. So be aware of that. But that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you check out the videos in the description if you want to see some gameplay for Virtual Dokkan. That should be coming out middle of this week. If you want to see anything else like the guide, I'll also have the showcase for the Ape team, all that stuff. So stick around for a bit. Subscribe if you were new. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch all of you in the next one.